Hey everybody, this is Matt. How are you guys doing? So this is going to be another vlog from the car because you guys actually liked it when I did it last week, so I thought I'd do it again and just kind of maybe make this a semi-regular event. Monday mornings, about to go to work. I'm a little bit early, and so why not talk to you guys? I don't really have a whole lot of things to announce. Basically, my plan is pretty much the same as always. So I thought I'd talk to you guys about music. And a couple of you guys actually commented on my last update video that I shouldn't forget about the rock and roll and the heavy metal guys, and I won't. I actually made a track that was heavy metal-ish last week, so I don't ever plan on stop making those types of tracks. But it's funny though, that because of the way that my channel works, I've had to divide my music up into playlists. And of course you've got like the techno and the background and the rock and everything like that. And obviously I've put a lot of my work, most of my work in the channel around the electronic dance music. But with these playlists, you get your very own separate analytics to work with to see what's going on with that kind of thing, right? Like you get to see exactly who goes to what playlist, and so you get a little bit of extra feedback about how to proceed and stuff like that. Even though like sometimes you don't have to take that advice, of course. But like the funny thing though is that my biggest playlist, which is the techno and the dubstep playlist, is actually been kind of on the decline for the last year or so. Like it's been actually going down in views as a playlist. I can't really say for sure like on individual videos because I feel like techno and dubstep tracks are still popular on my channel. But the funny thing is that the biggest playlist on my channel right now is background music. And background music is something that I created as a response to a request that I got 3 years ago. It's been 3 years ago that I actually constructed that playlist, and I've been kind of like filling it up. It has a decent amount of tracks in it, but I never thought that it would actually gain a following or a popularity. But right now it's my #1 playlist on the channel. And it's funny to think about that. And by the way, heavy metal is actually #2. So the techno and dubstep tracks are like #3 right now. And it's still fairly popular. But it's been overtaken by rock and roll and also the background music. So there's like several things that you can take away from that. #1, I'm contemplating whether or not dubstep has run its course as far as a popular genre. You know, everybody said that disco wouldn't die, and disco died as soon as the 80s rolled around. And I'm wondering now that, now that dubstep has been kind of in the spotlight for about 5 years, it's about ready to change guard or something like that. Like I read a whole lot of like blogs and stuff like that to kind of see where like music is going, and everybody is saying that electronic dance music is the thing that's actually staying, and that may be true, but I also wonder if there is a certain saturation point that we've reached in terms of all the wubs and the warbles and stuff like that. I realize one of the things that I've been trying to do with Massive is basically to create a lot of patches that kind of mimic that. But in the same light, I've been basically trying to diversify the patches as well. But like, I mean, there's only so many things that you can do with a warble or a wobble or a deep throat bass that can go on from what you can only do so many things without sounding like everybody else, I guess you could say. And the funny thing is, and I'm not saying that the dubstep didn't get unpopular because I don't have any search engine results. Actually, if you search up royalty-free dubstep and royalty-free dubstep music, I show up on those search engines. But once again, I feel like maybe that genre is kind of, it's gotten to the point where it's so ubiquitous on YouTube that I feel like people may be kind of tiring of that genre. Whereas, like, my rock and roll stuff is actually gaining popularity, which is, I mean, part of me still wants to focus on the electronic dance music. That will always be like a staple on my channel, but it's kind of gotten to the point where I need to like practice on delivering new riffs for like rock tracks, or trying to figure out how to like do more industrial tracks, because I know you guys like just industrial as well. I mean, that's also one of the things that I found out last year, is you guys really like industrial. A lot of these tracks, or these genres that I felt went out by the wayside like 20 years ago, seem to be coming back, which is kind of a reoccurring theme. During the 90s, disco came back, and during the 2000s, all the 80s music came back, and right now I guess we're going back to the revival of things that happened like 20 years ago in the 90s. So in that respect, like, that's why when I express that breakbeats seem to be on the comeback, that's actually what's happening, at least according to what you guys have fed back to me, in terms of you guys really like the breakbeats tracks. So that's why I've been kind of like ramping up on that in the last year, as opposed to electro, which I still do electro, but I've kind of eased off on it a little bit. I don't know. You guys can like leave any comments on what you think the music, where the music is going in terms of electronic dance music and rock and stuff like that. There's also kind of like a balance between like the more complex stuff and the simpler stuff. And what I mean by that, some of you guys would like me to simplify my approach to music and not try and complicate things, just write simple tracks. And other people, when I actually do the simple stuff, you guys actually love it, but then other people are like, well, it's too repetitive. So there's always kind of like a balance. Not really a balance, actually. I would say that I try to vary how I approach each individual track, so I don't end up sounding like myself. And one of the ways that I've tried to do that is to use melody to differentiate each track. Like, I don't know that there will ever be another track like I'm Everywhere, or another track like Beat Time Grind, because those, I mean, that was unique and spontaneous. And every time I've tried to basically follow up on that kind of success, it's not nearly as memorable as the original tracks that people want me to basically copy. So, but in terms of that, I mean, one of the things that I am doing that has basically kind of forced me to simplify it a little bit is that I've been building tracks off of Massive, working through Propellerhead Reason. Which what that does is it forces me to basically simplify things, because you can only use one instance of Massive in Reason at a time, and then when you've got your notes down, you have to basically freeze the track or record a wave file version of the notes that you laid down. And so if you want to go back and change those notes later, you basically, what you have to do is you have to reload the patch that you worked on to make that line of music, and then redo the notes, and then also any other backing notes that you used. And if you use 2 patches of Massive, you have to basically re-record those tracks every time. So in that respect, it's kind of forced me to simplify it down. Or although, if I want to take the time to basically redo all that, it's something that basically I can do. But sometimes it's up in the air whether I want to do that kind of like correction or not. But I feel like I've gotten better and more efficient at that kind of thing. So it's been easier for me to change the notes, of course. A lot of you guys actually commented that I should probably open up my Patreon to more people. I do have a Patreon, but I've been kind of like, I guess I could say lazy, or not really wanting to promote my Patreon, because I feel like you guys support me a lot through like the Spotify lists and stuff like that as well. But yeah, to those guys, thank you very much for the suggestion. I will definitely put a link to my Patreon in the description of my videos, and maybe link it to through a card or something like that, maybe at the end of the video. But once again, it's always kind of like a concern of me to basically do you guys right and not ask for too much of you guys, of course. What was it? Are we talking about music? We're talking about music. Okay, all right. So, dubstep may be out of the way. It may be on the way out. I'm not sure. Everybody says that dubstep is the genre that won't die, but whenever people say that, that's exactly when it dies. Sometimes they said that at the end of the disco run, and at the end of like the hair metal run and stuff like that. It's nothing ever escapes change, I guess you could say. And there are different ways of approaching dubstep. A lot of you guys like the Vampire Underground series, which has less to do with the warbles and the wubs and stuff like that, and more with the melodies. And I feel like that's a way to extend the genre, is to play around with the melodies and experiment around with the new instruments, because there's only so much that you can do with the Skrillex type of warbles and stuff like that. So I guess that's my pledge, is like when I go into like a new track, a lot of times I will construct my own patches in order to basically create unique sounds. So I mean, hopefully you guys like that. I probably should get to work. I've been talking way too long, but I'll see you guys later. Stay tuned for music. Happy Thanksgiving for those of you who actually celebrate that holiday, and I'll see you guys next time.